All right, so today we're going to jump into something that I think a lot of you out there have probably thought about, and that's creating and selling ebooks online. And we're focusing, of course, on, our audience, which is educators.
Yep.
And we had a really fascinating conversation recently with Ardent Edupreneur.
Yes.
And, she's helped hundreds of educators kind of launch ebooks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to try to extract the best, most actionable insights for you from that conversation, whether you're just starting to think about this or maybe you've already dipped your toe in the water.
Right. Ardent, she's got a lot of experience in this world, really helping educators, specifically in that K through 12 space,
Yeah.
monetize, all the expertise that they've built up over the years. So she had some interesting observations about what's really working. And we kind of distilled it down to a couple of really key things. One is this idea of micro-niching.
Yeah.
And the other is the importance of validating your ebook idea before you even start writing.
Yeah, that's a really important one.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put all that work in and nobody's interested.
Exactly.
So let's start with micro-niching. I think that's such an interesting term. Can you explain a little bit about what that means?
So Ardent's really seeing this as the biggest kind of shift this year in terms of what's working well.
Yeah.
And it's really about, moving away from these broader topic areas that you might naturally think of when you first consider writing an ebook.
Yeah, like, classroom management.
Exactly.
Oh.
So like instead of classroom management, you might have something like engaging reluctant readers in 5th grade through graphic novels.
Right.
So it's a much, much narrower focus.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because you're targeting a very specific problem that people are having. And that makes the ebook that much more attractive to the people who are actively searching for a solution to that problem.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Because if I'm a 5th grade teacher and I have these, reluctant readers, and I see something that's all about how to engage them through graphic novels, I'm going to be way more likely to, want to read that and buy that.
Absolutely.
Than just some general classroom management book.
Exactly. And Arden was actually telling us a story about one educator she'd worked with who had seen 10 times the sales by focusing on a tiny niche.
Wow.
Compared to this broader topic that they had been, working on before.
Wow, 10 times. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And one of the tools that Arden recommends for kind of uncovering these needs and questions that people are actually asking is a tool called Answer the Public.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's a really great way to see what people are searching for online.
Okay. So we've identified our micro niche. Now let's talk about validation.
Okay.
Because this is the thing that Arden said you absolutely cannot skip.
Especially for people who are new to this whole, ebook creation game.
Yeah.
So what does that process actually look like?
Well, Arden recommended a really simple approach, which is to run a small Facebook ad campaign. And she said, around $50 should be enough to get a good sense.
Okay.
And you're directing those ads to a simple landing page where you've just kind of, outlined what your ebook would be about.
Right.
And the key metric that you're looking for is your sign-up rate.
Yeah. How many people are actually interested enough to say, yeah, I want to learn more?
Right. So Arden said that if you get around 5% of the people who visit your landing page to sign up, maybe for updates or a sample chapter, that's a pretty good indication that there's some real interest in your idea.
It's a really low-cost way to test the waters.
Yeah.
Before you actually commit all the time and energy to writing the entire book.
Right. Can you imagine, spending months and months on something?
Yeah.
Only to find out nobody wants it.
Yeah. That's the nightmare scenario.
So this is your insurance policy, basically.
Yeah. And Arden also stressed that if your initial idea doesn't validate,
right,
you need to be prepared to pivot.
Okay.
Don't get too attached to that first concept.
Yeah.
Use the feedback that you get to refine your focus.
Okay.
And maybe try a different micro niche.
All right. So we found our micro niche. We've validated it. We're ready to write.
Right.
Any advice for people who are just getting started?
Arden's advice was to start small.
Okay.
So don't try to write this huge, comprehensive ebook right off the bat.
Yeah.
Think about, maybe a 30-page ebook that really focuses on solving one specific problem for that micro niche audience that you've identified.
Okay.
So deliver targeted value efficiently.
So it's like you're saying solve one specific problem really well.
Exactly.
For a specific group.
For a specific group.
Okay. So to recap, there's so much great information here.
Yeah.
The two big takeaways from Ardent are, one, find that micro niche, that very, very specific audience and their pressing problem. And the second thing, and this is really key,
validate your idea before you write a single word.
Yeah, make sure people actually want it. So this has been so helpful. I mean, just even for me, thinking about my own kind of creative projects and things. But it leads to an interesting question for, all of you out there listening.
Yeah.
So thinking about your unique expertise as an educator, what very specific, maybe even overlooked need could you address with a short and impactful eBook?
Right. What seemingly small problem do you have the knowledge to solve?
Yeah. And how could you validate that there's an audience out there that would be interested?
Yeah.
That's kind of your homework assignment.
That's your homework.
All right. So that's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.